So on this part of the building, we're on the lower ground floor. You can probably see just behind me, over my shoulder here, the pavement and cars behind. So part of the work that we're doing in this building is to put external wall insulation front and back. However, one of the quirks as well is because we're kind of semi-subterranean on this side, the actual external wall insulation can only come down to above the pavement, and due to an issue with the highways agency, has to stop 150 millimeters above the pavement. Now, best practice will tell you that actually you need to take the insulation down below ground and marry that up with the floor insulation beneath. One of the questions we've got, and we're still undecided as how to solve it, is whether we should move the window to the front elevation in line with the external wall insulation, or move it back towards the internal wall insulation, which would be in line internally. But each of those issues then creates a problem with how do we resolve the external facade and how that looks in its relation to the pavement. In all reality, it may end up with myself and the retrofit designer coming up with a halfway solution that'll probably involve something like leaving it where it is and doing our best in the situation that we've got to perhaps mitigate against those problems by potentially just lining the internal reveals into the window frame itself. It would have to be something we'd have to keep an eye on over time. I think it's it's a great unponderable. In the meantime, some other aspects of this room, the clients would very much like to have this all having underfloor heating, but part of that is whether this room should also be insulated. Now, on the rear half of the building, that's actually what you'd consider a party floor, if you like, between floor of the same property. However, here, this is the ground beneath. Now, because that's a completely uninsulated space that's potentially got lots of drafts as well, we should really insulate this floor, but it's a discussion that needs to be had with the customer because there are some costs involved in doing it, and it wasn't ever part of the original programme of works because they originally were going to have radiators and then only later on decided they wanted to change this to underfloor heating. So as part from that, we've got insulation in the floor, we've got insulation on the walls. We're looking at the ventilation programme for the whole of this lower ground floor kitchen area, which is going to have a large 6-inch mechanical ventilation on a humidistat on the rear elevation. But in the middle here is going to be an island that will have the hob on it, and the clients would rather not have a large extractor in the ceiling, so we're going to use a recirculating carbon extractor and the large rear elevation ventilation system. All of the windows will have trickle vents, and so the background ventilation should be carried out by that, which should mean that when this is a much more hermetically sealed box, you still get lots of nice fresh air.